Hey guys! Have any of you ever wanted to recreate those wood projects you see on Pinterest, but you're not really sure where to get started? Well, today, by the end of this video, you're going to know exactly what kind of supplies, how to properly sand, and then how to properly stain your new wood projects. My husband and I have been redoing furniture for quite a few years now, and we absolutely love it, so I want to break this video down so that every level of enthusiast can follow along. I'm going to break it up into 3 parts. I'm going to first tell you about the supplies you need, and then I'm going to take you guys outside and I'm going to demonstrate how to sand and then what you need to do to stain your wood projects. So to start off, we're going to talk about our supplies. So I use the sander. You can hand sand if you want, but the sander's much quicker. You're going to want to first start with your coarse, which is a 60, and that'll take off any paint or stain that may be already on the project. If you don't, you can skip to a 150. 150 is kind of a medium, and then you're going to want to go up to a 220, which is super fine, and that's going to give you a really smooth surface for staining. You're then going to grab some tack cloth. Now tack cloth is what you use after you're done sanding, and it's going to pick up any particles that are left on the wood. And then you're going to want to also make sure you have cheesecloth as well as foam brushes. Now these are both going to be used for staining, and I'll demonstrate that later. I also like to use disposable gloves because the stain doesn't really come off your hands, so that one's optional if you prefer just to do it with your hands and no gloves. The other thing that's also optional is wood filler. Now sometimes I use wood filler if I see screws that are open and I don't want to see the screws, so I fill it in and then I can stain over it. And the last thing you're going to want is you're going to want your stain. Now I use espresso because I like dark stain, but they have light to dark variations, so you can pick any color stain you want. So now that we have all of our supplies, which you can actually find just at Home Depot or your local Lowe's, we're going to head outside and I'm going to demonstrate how to sand, and then we're going to move to staining. So I'll see you in a little bit. Hey guys, welcome back. I hope you guys can hear me okay. This part of the video I'm going to demonstrate how to properly sand our wood pieces so that way we can get ready for staining. So this is what we may start with. Some projects may have either a paint cover on it or it may have a stain, and so we're going to want to get rid of that if we don't like it. And this is what we're going to want to end up with before we can actually start staining. So this is my sander. I typically use this instead of hand sanding. It's a lot quicker and it's easier for the bigger projects. You are welcome to hand sand if you prefer. We want to make sure we have our coarsest sandpaper on it to begin with, so that way we can take off our stain and our paint the quickest. So I'm going to demonstrate that real quick. Alright, so just with a quick few minutes of sanding, you can end up with this, which it doesn't take long if you put a little elbow grease into it. So we want to make sure we're going with the grain of the wood, whether we're hand sanding or using a sander, because otherwise when you go to stain, you're going to see the scratches in the wood. So you want to make sure once you've gotten pretty much to the bare wood with your coarse sandpaper, you want to go to your medium, and then you want to work up to your fine, so that way you have a really smooth surface for when you're getting ready to stain. So when you guys go ahead and give that a try, and when we get back, we're going to go ahead and move into staining. Hey guys, welcome back. So I hope you're all ready to start staining. So again, we're going to need our gloves, we're going to need our stain, our cheesecloth, our tack cloth, and our foam brush. I also told you that I would tell you what you might use this for. So if you have a project that has holes in it like this one does here, and typically there will be a screw in it, you'll use that to fill in there, and it'll take a couple hours to dry before you can actually stain. So I'm going to demonstrate on the bare wood, so that way I can show you what we need to do. So we're first going to put on our gloves, so that way we don't get any stain on our hands. We also want to make sure we have old clothes on, because the stain will not come out of our clothes. And what you first want to do is you want to take your tack cloth. It's kind of sticky, so it's going to pick up any loose particles on your wood. And you're just going to want to run it across the wood so you can see it. And you want to make sure you're getting the whole piece of the wood, so that way it's completely clean and free of any particles or dust or anything like that. So once you've ran your tack cloth along your wood, you want to grab your brush. I only have a big foam brush with me, but you can use a small one. You want to grab your stain. You just want to dip the end of the brush in so there's only a little bit on. And you want to apply it to your wood kind of heavy. You want to make sure you coat every single corner and piece. And for just demonstration purposes, I'm just going to do just the half of the piece of wood. But if you can see, I put it on thick. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take your cheesecloth and you're going to want to run it along your wood, but you want to make sure you stay with the grain of your wood. And you just want to wipe off the excess. So you can see the difference. This is what it would look like if you didn't have your cheesecloth, and that's what your stain's going to look like when it's dry. If you prefer a darker stain and you want more coats, which this wood would probably need a second coat, you want to make sure it dries a couple hours, and then you can go ahead and apply your second coat, and you would do exactly what I just demonstrated there. Hey guys, I just wanted to leave you guys with a few more pieces of advice. It was getting a little loud outside, so I had to come back inside. But I hope all you fellow enthusiasts and Pinterest lovers and project doers enjoyed this video, and I hope that you'll be able to go out and buy the supplies you need and be able to properly sand and stain. My little last piece of advice is that you take the time and you do what you need to for sanding and staining, because otherwise you'll end up with one of those disaster pieces. But I wish you guys the best of luck, and I hope this video was helpful for you today.